I have some tip for the seller and for the buyer, investor, and the real estate agent as well. So I want to share it with you guys. Share this live video because you never know who need this tip. I think it's really cool that I'll be able to come up with some of this tip and learn it from an article that I read. So for the seller, a lot of people ask me like, why would I list my house with you with 6% when I can list it with some other company that only charge 1% listing fee. And I have good and bad experience in those from the seller perspective. And one of them is that like whenever they sign a document and whenever it's online and all they have to do is click that box and just accept, a lot of people don't read the fine print, and I'm guilty of it. When I'm signed up for a phone line or something, I never read, even with the gas or electricity. I don't read all the fine line
There's no
stuff.
time to read all that.
Exactly. And it happened that this company just reduced the price that they agree on because it's on the market for 1 month. They didn't sell, so they don't even need to ask for permission anymore. Well, to us, if we had to reduce the price, we had to come back to the seller and see if we get the permission to reduce the price, even with just a few thousand. But in this case, they dropped $10,000. So you lose a lot of equity out of the house, and at that point, you either walk away better, or you just gonna have to sell the house and lost tons of money. And that's when they come in as a local agent. I think is very helpful because last show that we talked about is that the two key players is the lender and the real estate agent. And if you can reach them in the middle of the night or sometime that that after 5 p.m., then it's harder to schedule how to show for the next day and things like that. So I think it's good to do your research, read all the fine print before you sign anything. If it sounds too good to be true, I think sometimes you gotta do it. Yeah. So, any thought on that?
I totally agree. I think there's something to be said about having a good relationship with a good real estate agent. They're usually networked. They know how to sell a property. They know how to kind of put the puzzle together to make the whole thing work, and they can communicate back and forth. Whereas a listing system may not have that good communication.
Yeah, and I've been following this guy. His name is Ryan Serhant, and he's a huge real estate broker out in New York. And one of his point is that, in the good market, all these companies jump in, as far as Redfin, Open Door, and things like that. They jump in, but whenever the real estate market crash, this company also like nowhere to be found because they don't have a solid, foundation to follow up with this client of theirs. So I'm like, it's really true, what he said, because at the end of the day, a local agent always gonna be there through the good time and the bad time. So you can always reach out to them and be able to get some answer if you needed to. So I thought his point was like on point. My tip for the buyers is to bring everybody when you viewing the house. And the reason I say that was yesterday I showed this whole family, right? 4 people came and see the house, and they all gonna be living in there. And it happened to be that one house that I surprised them and be like, hey, they want to see 5 houses, and I'm like, this is the one house that I really like. But I didn't like tell them that I already had on schedule. So they look all 5 houses that they want to see, and after that I show them this like really cool house that fit all their criteria, and they end up putting an offer on that same house. Before they even left the house. They're like, hey, we love this house, it's fit perfectly. And it's funny because they look at the first house and it was like $155,000, and she was like, I'm in love with this house, right? And then when I showed them the other house was like $210,000, she was like, man, everybody loved this house, I don't need to like anybody has to come see the house. Whereas the day before, they look at an open house and, her spouse wasn't be able to make it and things like that. But bring everybody that's going to live in the house to view the house at that same time. Because, in a competitive market, you don't know if that house going to be available, the next few days or not. Granted, this house is on the market for 6 days and, it's still available. But, yeah, my tip for you as a buyer is to bring everybody to the house to view the house.
Yeah, because there's something for everybody in the house.
Yeah.
You're gonna want to get that shared opinion.
And you don't want to like see it and then come back another time to view it, because you know it's wasting your time, the agent time, and you might not even be able to get the house, because if somebody else beat you to the offer and the seller accepted, then you gotta go all over again to look at another property. So yeah, my tip for the investor is to take time and go to the builders to view the new models home, because it gives you a creative ideas and what is the trend for this year for your next project. And you know, one of my investors, you know, he actually took my advice and went look at the builders, and you know, he be able to use the same paint color that, you know, the new trend is coming out, you know, as far as like the top color for last year and things like that, to do it for his project. And I had one that surprised me. My investor want to do this crazy pattern flooring, you know, on his new, you know, project, and I'm like, that's not gonna, you know, sell, right? It looks weird to me. He's like, no, I did my research. This is something that's really cool right now and it's in trend. And it's funny, I went to a title company for my closing, and they had that same patterns of flooring on their wood floor. I'm like, what is this, guys? And she told me this is the newest trend that, you know, as far as flooring wise. And I'm like, this is exactly what my investor did, you know, and
ahead of the curve.
Yeah, he's ahead of the curve. So yeah, if you're an investor, do your research, take some time to go to the builders, or, you know, see what the new trend is, you know, for this year, and then follow with that. Because with the new builder, they put a lot of money into the type of deal to be able to get something out of it, you know, new trends and things like that. So do that, investor. My last tip is for the real estate agents. This is something that personally that I do, and I recommend all my team members to follow with it. So if you think it's helpful, you agree with me, then, you know, do it. But I wouldn't show more than 6 houses to one buyers in one day, because, you know, in the past, I just agree with them and show them 10 houses, you know, being there all day with them, go to lunch, you know, show more houses. And at the end of the day, they so confused. They were like, oh, so what this house look like and what the price again, you know, so they get really confused.
Together, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track of what you've seen.
Yeah. So